When I felt like I wanted to quit, writing a letter to my future self showed me how strong I really was, that I made it through the pandemic of 2020, and that the next crisis that comes, I'll make it through that too.
It took you a long time to put pen to paper and write about how hard this was for you. But one of the biggest lessons you learned from all of this was how you can be functioning and getting your business handled and not know how messed up you are from all the stress and so much change.
There was a time in my career when I didn't have a job and I didn't go to any office, I didn't see people. I felt very down, and that's what this felt like in the beginning, because even though I had a great job, even though I had a nice apartment, it still felt like the flashback of what I'd been through before. It's really weird when you start to miss crowded sidewalks in New York City. You miss the sounds of traffic. That, to me, has become a sign of life. I've always been a social butterfly. I had no idea how much I needed people and how much I loved being around people. And so I'm much more grateful for the things that at one point I might have complained about, and that gives new perspective. So I started to ask, what could I do for those who were feeling distanced and isolated at home? And the thought occurred to me that we should all write a letter to our future self. As I wrote the letter, I realized how much resilience I had for this moment. And I wanted to encapsulate it. I wanted to put it on paper to remind myself in the future that I could make it through anything because I made it through this. I celebrated a birthday during the pandemic. I don't ever want to treat life lightly. I don't think I took it for granted before, but this certainly made me more inspired to treat every day like a celebration. Now I want to have a party every day, not just on my birthday. I realized how important your tribe is to your identity. And when those people go away, we can feel like we've lost ourselves. And that's what I was starting to feel like, this complete detachment from everything that I said I was. Writing things down became a new kind of cheerleading for myself. And I thought if I could tell anybody who felt alone, who felt down, who felt depressed, anything right now, I would say, you've got to cheer yourself up. You got to say something that tells you who you really are when everything around us was telling us who we weren't. My favorite time of day now is 7 p.m.
We got this.
Hearing the cowbells and people banging on pots and pans and blowing whistles and applauding the frontline workers who have been serving us and our community to keep us safer at home. And I almost started crying, literally, because I hadn't been seeing people, but those who were walking on the sidewalk with me stopped on the corner to applaud. And those who were driving down the street were honking their horns, not out of road rage, but because they wanted to join in. And it was just this unifying moment that even though we were so alone and so separated, we were unified in this, and we agreed on this. And that gave me hope. We need right now people who know how to solve problems at a time when the world is crying out for those problems to be solved. It's quite remarkable how when you are kind, you are able to go above the circumstances, kind of go above the clouds, and realize that we have the power to help somebody else, to stay here, to be who they are, to be themselves, to bring light to the world, because right now we need a whole lot of light. I would encourage anybody to write a letter to their future self. Just get out a pen in your own handwriting and express what you have hope for tomorrow during this crazy time. What you've not stopped doing in spite of the world stopping all around you, and what you're going to keep doing in terms of kindness and generosity to others. I wanted to prove that I was going to be there after this pandemic, going strong, continuing to be kind. The letter is proof, writing to your future self, that you make it on the other side of this thing.